Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing fantastic no matter where you're at, and I praise you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all your support of my channel, and I hope that I can continue showing you and being very informative with the collection that I have. Let's get it started today. Now guys, you see we're gonna talk about these watches here. Mainly, of course, we're gonna have few watches at the back. We're gonna do a bit of comparison, and I think they're relevant in terms of your purchasing decision if you are considering of this piece. The watch we're gonna talk about today is the Seiko 5 SRPJ47. In short, this is the watch that was released a few months ago, probably 6 months ago, by Seiko under the Seiko 5, by borrowing the spirit of the design back in the late 70s of the Seiko Sonar Dial. Mainly, we're looking at a transparent dial. Just very quick, I'm going to show the beauty of that function when it comes to transparent dial, that you can see what's happening on the sub dial when it comes to day and date changes. There you go. We're looking at the day, and of course if we turn the other way around, we're looking at the day. Beautiful. So we're going to lock it in on, let's just go with Sunday 5th 14th, no matter what that date is. Okay guys, now guys, as you see, on the day of the unboxing of this watch really surprised me, being what it is at that price. But really what that channel also made me realize is because that particular video got over 3,000 views, being one of the top in terms of number of views. That triggered me to think about what we and the wider community think about Seiko and with their new releases. I think this watch is actually pretty welcomed in terms of, we're looking at the newcomers into the hobby, or experienced collectors that are looking to, getting back to some of the classic Seikos that they were released many years ago. Now, I'm going to do two parts of this in terms of my take on the watch. First part being really just talk about the watch, of my experiences of the last few days. The second thing we're going to do about, of course, as you know, I think it's really important to understand if you're adding a piece to your collection, then what is that watch is going to do in comparison or in relation to other couple pieces or a few watches that in your collection, would that create a great harmony, or would that create conflict in terms of color variant, would that adding to your collection to enhance the color choice that you have, or are you going to be disappointed about how this watch turns out when you're having it? So again, hopefully guys, if you're looking to purchase this watch SRPJ47, I'm hoping this video is going to give you more details, being very informative when it comes to your purchasing decision. Okay guys, now fantastic. First part, the only change I've done to this watch really is to taking off that OEM bracelet, because you guys know I'm a massive Seiko fan, a massive Seiko 5 fan, but guys, I'm just being honest here, I'm not a fan of that bracelet at all. And thinking the first Seiko 5 that I purchased back in 2018, late 18, the Seiko 5 bracelet that comes with this watch is identical to that watch. So over the period of the last 5 or 6 years, no changes. So they must make the millions of them. They essentially just shipping their watches out. Even the the 2022, 2023 models, they're still shipping the old bracelet. I can't complain, again, knowing the emphasis of the watch is not on the design of the bracelet. So what I've done is I've taken that bracelet off and put it on this beautiful Bisa Rise bracelet. This Bisa Rise bracelet doesn't cost us a fortune. It's about $40. Again, because this is not a diver, it is really just using a standard thickness of the spring bar. So I've just picked up one from eBay, and it looks fantastic. It's not bad at all. Okay, so hopefully this video is going to give you the impression of what what this beautiful, again, the emphasis on the dial and that transparency of the dial color, absolutely brilliant how that watch is going to turn out with a Bisa Rise bracelet. So now moving along, over the last few days of having this watch, I kind of developed a bit of love and hate relationship with it, really, because I understand the most sort of significant part of the design is that transparency when it comes to day and date changes. Guys, I'm just going to show you very quickly. I'll get the day. This is normally what you do, right? You get the You get hourly hand and minute hand to about 6:30, and then you manually change the day and date without impacting on the movement, because of course if you change that between sort of 10 to 2, naturally that's where the day and date will change automatically anyway. So when you do the 6:30, it's going to protect the movements. As far as I know, I learned this from Red and Rob. One pull. This is not a screw down crown, guys. You know this is the 5KX. So when you put out ones, you can change. We're changing the date. Let's do with my favorite number 23, because you guys can see it. And you know what? Let's the other way turns that give you the date change. Of course, let's stick with a beautiful red Sunday. So Sunday 23rd, of course, no matter what the day is. So that's the beauty of the dial. Hopefully you guys are capturing it. So that's what I love about it. When you changing the day and date, it gives you a great sense of really just fun, seeing how it works. I'm just gonna do that again for you guys. Alright, so again we're going to 23. You can see the whole dial changes really on that outer layer of the date changes. And of course when you turn the other way around, it gives you the day of that inner line. So guys, for you guys that has modded your watch before, you love modding watches, you're probably familiar with the layout of the dial, because you've seen it before, right? For me personally, I've never taken a watch apart, so for me this is very new. Okay, 23rd of whatever month on Sunday. Okay guys, so that's the highlights of the watch. And the second thing I like to talk about is this SRPJ47. I call this the Sonar Brownie. Has a beautiful second hand that is taken away in a sort of green and neon color. Just to show you guys some close up to make sure that you capture it before you make your decision on buying it. There you go. So you can see that second hand taken away. Just capture a bit more lights when I'm turning this watch around in different lighting condition, right? So when you're having the watch presented in a sunny day, we have plenty of light shining on it, the watch stands out. The watch stands out really well. So knowing they advertise this watch as an orange, the SRPJ45 is the blue, this is the orange. However, really I'm not getting any orange out of it at all. All I'm getting is brown. That's why I call this the Seiko Sonar Brownie. Look at that second hand. Hopefully you guys appreciate the close-up shot, because really I think that's the highlights of the design for the watch for sure. Okay, so we're knowing the second hand is green and neon, and also guys what you can see is the so below the chapter ring, the inner chapter ring, you can see at each indices there is sort of a layer of inner, not called this inner bezel, but really just in terms of dial step down design. Yeah, there you go. I think that angle captures it really well. So you can see that design really sort of stepping down, similar to, I'll just give you guys a comparison, similar to the monsters that I have in my hands, right? There you go. So you can see that stepping down. Of course the monster is much more aggressive, so you can see a similar structure of that sort of stepping down dial, which I like it really. It's a fantastic design. It's a fantastic design. So that's the highlights of the watch, the highlights of the dial. And I just like, of course, the whole formula of building the watch based on the SKX, a very legendary shape. So everybody's familiar with the wearing experiences, of course, highlighted with the spirits of the old Sonar. Of course, the old Sonar dial was much more complex, and what I've done, I actually appreciate, they started the Sonar reinvention or readaptation into their lines, into the Seiko 5, rather than making a more expensive Presage or Pro specs. So I think this is a great starting point for them to build on that line, and maybe later on they will do Presages and Pro specs with some of the complications that come with the original Sonar. So this is the watch. Just put on my 7-inch wrist to give you guys some wrist shot. Of course, we know what it is, right? It wears like a SKX, pretty much the same thing, very similar dimensions, if not the same. You guys already had 5KX, you know what I'm talking about. But guys, if you've never bought a 5KX or you never had a SKX, maybe you want to put a trigger on this if you like the color variant, that's for sure. Okay, guys, so this is how it looks on my 7 inches, of course, with the Bezarized bracelet. I'm liking it so far, guys. I gotta say, very casual watch. Give you a different sort of feeling when it comes to that brown color and that neon hands. In a good lighting condition, it stands out from the crowd. But of course, if you wear an indoor or in an office environment, then this color doesn't sort of stand out from the crowd as much as in the. There you go, guys. You can see. So when you have less lighting, you can't. The whole bezel sort of turn black, and all the indices, all that sort of transparency in the dial, you get loose that in the detail from a distance. But again, the moment you have the good lights shining on it, the whole dial pops out straight away. Okay, guys, fantastic. So the second part of the video, I just want to do a quick comparison. If you're considering adding this watch because you want some part of the uniqueness when it comes to the shape of the dial, or the color, that sort of another Seiko that makes you want to purchase, I just want to give you guys some direct comparison. Okay, so as we know, this is the 62 mass. This is the 62 mass SPB147. This released as a cappuccino brown dial. So if you guys like the brown dial, you can see how sort of different they are in the broad daylight. The SRPJ47 Sonar Dial definitely stands out a lot more because of that transparency, how light that brown is, and this is much darker. The SPB147 is a much darker dial. Of course, when it gets hit directly with the sun, the whole indices then all start dancing together. But so that's a direct comparison with the SPB147. And of course, we talk about the legendary that is built upon the SKX. This is the 009. So it really exactly the same shape. The cushion, the position of the crown, the bezel, the indices design exactly the same as SKX, right? So they've done a great job by carrying on the legend, of course, in a relatively lower spec watch. With the, of course, improved movements and all that. Okay, so that's an SKX direct comparison. And the reason why I bought this Samurai out again is because the avatar this is the orange, but this is actually a more orange much than this. We know this is the Coral Reef Asia exclusive edition of the Samurai. I quite like this watch. I think it's a perfect sort of dress diver's watch. It looks very elegant. But again, guys, that's on the direct sunlight of that orange popping out. So you compare the SRPJ47 against the King Samurai. Okay, guys, beautiful watch, this SRPJ47. If you guys like it, then I'm highly recommending it. If you like that transparency dial, you like that uniqueness of the design, the retro back in the 70s, I highly recommend it. Of course, we know the movement, the 4R is very accurate within the spec, between 5 to 6 seconds. This one's running slightly faster a day. And of course, I've got to cover this part of the watch. So this one is not transparent. There's not. I'm just trying to find another watch with the clear case back. But this one, they sort of put another layer of coating maybe underneath of it to make it more like a murky, that sort of actually a quite premium feeling, because you can still see everything. You can definitely see the stainless steel or that wording correctly, but you can't really see the detail of that movement. I'm just turning this away. Sorry guys, that's my take on the watch, guys. Okay, very unique piece when it comes to Seiko 5. Again, I'm sure the blue one stands out from the crowd as well as this one here, the Brownie Sonar Dial. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Any questions, leave in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay guys, take care, bye bye for now.